talk to friends of mine and they say, I never know, like if you're being truthful or if they paid you. And I say, well, they paid me to
Yeah.
be truthful. Influencers or bloggers to make it really easy for me. So if I'm asking for stats, give me all the stats in
Yeah.
one email. Don't make me keep asking for more stuff.
Yeah. Hi guys and welcome here. So in today's video I'm going to interview James, and he was the only dad who was nominated in the Vancouver Top 30 Mom Bloggers, and I'm really glad that Vancouver Mom website is taking these kind of initiative. But coming back to point, today in interview we are going to ask him really good questions, and he's going to share with us like how to become blogger and how to do blogging properly, how to self-brand, how to promote yourself, and also how to start earning through the website and blogging, all that stuff, and also how to grow as a blogger, because that's important too. And when we are doing this interview, make sure to sit down with coffee and pen and paper. Make sure to take all the notes and points out. Whenever you're watching this video, make sure to take a screenshot out and tag us on Instagram story. You can take both of us or any of us. That way we'll be happy to know that you're getting points and you're getting help and you're enjoying these kind of shows. Yeah, now let's get into it. Hi James, thank you so much for saying yes for this interview. And today we are going to talk about like how you started blogging, and we are gonna ask you a few questions which can help others out, like how to nail on that, because still people think like blogging cannot bring money and it can be just just for fun, but it is not. I think it can bring a lot of money by self branding and doing so many other things. So we are just gonna dive in and ask you a few questions if you're ready.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, so first of all, just paint the picture who you are and what you do.
I'm James Smith. It's a big question, isn't it? I suppose I'm an expat, English, live in Vancouver. Crikey, about 7 years now. Background in travel and social media and photography and videography and all the fun stuff. And I've kind of made that a career. Back in the day when like Twitter became it wasn't even a thing. It's just sort of started to be talked about. After it was premiered at South by Southwest, I don't know, 15 years ago, 12 years ago. And I thought, I wonder if this is like worth pursuing as like a job. And yeah, it turned out it was like it could have been just nothing, like rubbish, but yeah, it was good.
Next question is when and how you did start it. I mean, blogging, and not like Instagram blogging only. I'm asking about your website blogging. And what do you think, like, what are the changes you see now from like back then when you started?
I started blogging back when I was working on cruise ships just after university, because I finished college and I started an office job, and I thought, I hate being in an office. This is the worst thing. I'm not going to spend my life doing this. An arrogant 20-something-year-old thinking I'm better than an office.
Yeah.
20 years later, I'm right back in an office. But I went to work on cruise ships, and I thought it'd be cool to have a travel blog. If not mostly just to save on sending postcards to my mum saying where I was. Because I was traveling around Mexico and Alaska and Australia and French Polynesia and all over the place in Europe. So I started doing that, and then I got a few followers, not many, mainly my mum and a couple of other people that I met. And then I thought, this is actually quite fun. Like, I enjoy keeping a diary that isn't just going to end up in a notepad and then in the bin.
Yeah.
And then when I finished university, when I finished doing the cruise ships, I was writing about sort of in more detail about all the places I've been to, and I was answering questions from people who wanted to go on holiday, or people wanted to know sort of the secret behind the scenes life of a cruise ship that you couldn't really answer when you're employed by them. And I was doing Reddit AMAs and all that kind of stuff. And then when social media became more of a sort of mainstream conversation topic, I changed it into a social media blog. And I wrote quite a lot on it, but then it sort of started to peter out when I kind of got bored, and then moved here. And then just as I was about to become a father, I thought, I wonder like if anyone would be interested in this. And then I was working at Nature's Path, the cereal company based in Richmond here near Vancouver.
Yeah.
And we were doing some market research. We asked to look into our key demographics and our target audience and come up with a persona. They said mothers or women spend 60 minutes a week grocery shopping. So you should be talking to women and mums, and they should be the key person that you imagine when you're coming up with advertising campaigns.
Yeah.
And me becoming a father and the only guy in the whole department, I said, well, what about the dads and the men? How much do they spend? And they said, oh, we didn't really write that down in the report. Let me come back to you. And they did, and it was 54 minutes. So 6 minutes difference it changes the whole campaign. And then I said, well, why aren't we talking to them? And they said, well, we only really normally pick just one, and we always thought that women were the key audience. And I said, well, I'm going to start my own dad blog then, because we were already talking to mum bloggers and influencers, but no men at all. And all the brands were like mum approved. Pampers said mum approved. Kellogg's Cornflakes says mum approved. So I noticed a few other dads were sort of writing to them, and I started, and then like Casey Palmer and Buzz Bishop, and there were some other dad bloggers who they weren't mainstream enough. So I joined into a couple of Facebook groups and that kind of thing, and it really went from there. And there's actually a huge community. We're just, until the last 5 years, we weren't really getting, at least from my perspective, we weren't really getting much of the conversation. But now it's become a main thing, and more companies are including the dad bloggers into their campaigns and their demographics and things. So it's really cool.
Yeah. So there has been a lot of change since you started.
Huge amount. And now even like advertising and things for like vacuum cleaners and diapers and stuff, you can't show a bumbling idiot dad.
Yeah.
Like when the mum goes out grocery shopping and the dad's like, oh, I don't know what to do, and it's a mess.
Yeah.
And you can't show that anymore.
Yeah.
Because it's not fair on the men who are really trying hard.
True. That's
true. And we work hard. We get up in the night with the kids, and we potty train, we change diapers, and we go grocery shop and all that. We do everything.
Yeah. Even I remember, like, first diaper of my baby was changed by my husband. So I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. But in media, like, we're the idiots.
Yeah.
And more brands are like, you know what, let's be fair.
Yeah.
And you're going to get another 50% of people buying your stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're talking to the dads now as well.
Yeah. So my next question is, what mistakes someone should avoid being a blogger, which you see a lot of people doing these days?
Yeah, there's kind of a few. And as someone who works in social media as a day job as well as my own blog, I see a lot of people who are reaching out to brands and saying, let's partner up, I want to work with you. But they're really in their infancy. Their blog has only been around for a couple of months. They've only got a few posts. Their design isn't that great.
Yeah.
They don't have an awful lot of followers. Like they've rushed into it thinking, I've had some success stories. I'm just gonna do this and make some money and ask brands to send me some stuff or ask more than what I'm worth. And then you instantly get shut down, and it's really hard to get back into their attention.
Sure.
So I think the work needs to be done. Like my blog had been around for 10 years before I even start. I mean, it'd gone through a few iterations, going from travel to social media to being a dad, but at least like I had the experience of writing for online and content creation and photography and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I know my content style is still changing, and it will as I'll read a new book, and then my writing will change. Or I'll see another photographer doing incredible stuff, and I think, oh, that looks really cool. I'll try that.
Yeah, that's the life of creators, right? You have to be creative.
But you have to put the work in.
Yeah.
It's not an easy job. It's not like when some people see you get something free because you have a blog or an Instagram. They think, oh, that's not, they're cheating the system. But no, we work really hard. Like I'm up until midnight a lot to get this stuff done.
Yeah. People think like it's just a cool picture, someone has
Yeah,
taken a cool picture, and no, it's not that. You have to do a lot of work, caption, editing, a lot of things. Yeah,
exactly. And I think the most important thing is to realize what provides value to the audience.
true.
So if it's just selfies and someone looking pretty the whole time,
Yeah,
yeah, it looks nice, but like as a brand, not
it
interesting.
doesn't work. Yeah,
Yeah, and I've seen your face. I know what it looks like.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
What's next?
yeah, well, how does this product that we're selling, like, if
Exactly.
as a brand, like, if I'm working with you, show your audience how this product makes your life better.
Yeah.
Like, being pretty in it isn't enough anymore.
So my next question is why and how you think like blogging can be a profitable side business or a full-time job for somebody.
Yeah, it definitely can be. I've been charging brands for like product placements and reviews and things for the past 4 years, but it's only really been profitable for the past 2,
Okay.
just because you have to put an awful lot of money in. Like, there's equipment, there's lighting, like microphone, a light there. If I turn it off, it looks terrible.
Yeah.
Then there's all the like the main fees, and there's advertising. Well, not I don't pay for advertising, but like if you want to do Facebook stuff, there's all the tools. So
Yeah.
you have to put money in as much as you do work. Like, you have to put so much work in.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can be profitable, and to do that, you need to have your own niche. You don't even have to have a unique opinion about anything. You just have to be
Clear
vocal and
about what you want to share.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you need to show what you stand for, why it's important, how you're doing good things, and if you're doing a review, like, provide value. Like, is someone going to come to your website and then go away knowing more than they came in?
Yeah.
If not, you've provided nothing except for distraction.
That's true.
So even on your pictures, like on Instagram, and I keep going back to Instagram because it's such a big platform,
Yeah.
and there's TikTok, which
Yeah.
I advise everyone against not using it
Yeah.
because it's a
Yeah.
malware.
Yeah.
But like, people want micro updates. They want a nice picture and then they can read your caption.
Yeah.
But aside from the value, your content has to look really good. And because there's so much competition, there's a ton of other people who want to have that same back and forth with the brand or an agency that you're having now, if you get to that position.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be better than them.
Mm-hmm.
So your content has to be really good. If they ask you to do something, you do twice as much.
Yeah.
You, if they're giving you a direct link to a product page, for example, you try and sell it twice as much as someone else would.
Yeah.
But
That's
you
true.
have to hustle. Like, this is a hustle.
Yeah. That's
It's
a
not.
constant hustle. Yeah.
I mean, the term side hustle is thrown around now, but it really is like you have to work at this.
Yeah. It looks like
And
a
you
side
make
hustle,
some
but
money
it is
eventually.
sometimes it feels like it's a full-time hustle.
That's
Yeah,
you're the advertising channel now for that brand.
yeah.
And if you're not making the sales, so it's like, same if I don't know, Kellogg's bought a billboard and that billboard made no sales, they
Yeah.
don't use it again. They do
That's true.
something else. So it's the same with using a blogger or an advertising output,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is what we are sometimes.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that you're working for them. If you're not, they just won't bother. And make it easy for the marketer.
Yeah.
My day job, I want the influencers or bloggers to make it really easy for me. So if I'm asking for stats, give me all the stats in one email. Don't make me keep asking for more stuff,
Yeah.
because I haven't got time. Like, I'm like, working with influencers is a little part of my job,
Mm-hmm.
very important part, but it's
Yeah.
only a small. Like, I've got to do a ton of other stuff, and my email's blowing up. Like, make it easy for the person you're working for, and give them more than they asked for. So when they write their report at the end of the month and they can present it to their boss will say, well, James was really good. He gave us this many sales and this many impressions, and we should work with him again.
Yeah. But how important it is to choose a good brand to promote, especially in the initial days. Yeah. Like all the time, you should have that opinion that, yeah, these are the brands I will work and these are the brands I will not go through. And how important it is to choose the right brand for yourself.
Hugely important. Unless you're willing to put a brand down, which is risky in the early days,
Yeah.
just don't bother. Like, just say, I'm sorry, I can't support this brand. And I've done that a few times. There's some like pharmaceutical brands or supplements and stuff. And I was like, you know what? I can't talk about, like, you're offering all sorts of amazing benefits and I don't believe it.
Yeah.
I can't work with you. And that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
from day one, you have to, I can't remember what the word is, but like, you have to stay true to yourself
Yeah.
and be honest to your audience. Otherwise, they won't believe you.
Yeah.
When you talk about something else, your audience won't believe you. Will say, "Well, did they pay you?
Yeah.
And if so, are you just saying it?" Like, I talk to friends of mine, and they say, "I never know, like, if you're being truthful or if they paid you." And I say, "Well, they paid me to
Yeah.
be truthful.
Yeah.
I just won't. I won't waste my time talking about stuff I don't like.
Yeah.
You don't see TV ads for stuff that's rubbish."
This one is like how you grew your IG followers, and why do you think it matters to have a good IG page,
Mm.
even if you're not a big brand or just starting out or for self branding?
It is your portfolio. So if you were a photographer back in the day, as I did a few times, thankfully not too many, you go to whoever you want to work with and you have a printout of your photos, your best photos, and then you show it and you say, this is what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
That's what your Instagram should be. Like random pictures of like your food, if you're not a foodie blogger, or like random selfies or just screenshots and stuff.
Yeah.
Don't put that on your Instagram. It looks bad.
Yeah.
It should be your best, filtered if you need to, edited if you need to, photos. And you don't have to post several times a day. Like 3 or 4 times a week is fine.
Yeah.
And if you're starting out and you're just building an audience, like, just start as you mean to go on, but it's okay to keep getting better.
Yeah.
But make sure each photo is worth stopping on, because there's like, everyone's following thousands of people and they'll just keep scrolling past, and if it looks rubbish, then they're not going to like it, and then Instagram knows that people have been scrolling past and they just won't get shown again. So the algorithm makes your pictures go way down to the bottom, if even on the feed at all. So make sure that yours is worth stopping. Go, oh wow, this is amazing. I'm just going to do that and like it, or even comment. If you comment, then it's brilliant. Building an audience, that's really hard. It used to be really easy. Like, you could do a contest and get 1,000 new followers. But it's really hard, because like, you'll get people who like doing contests, so they'll follow you and then they'll unfollow you again just in case you do another contest, so they can follow you again to enter. Like, if you do hashtags, you'd be more likely to go to the top.
Yeah.
And now it's just so noisy and so just full of other people doing incredible stuff. Like, so I follow some people and I'm never going to take that kind of picture.
Yeah.
One, like Life with Benjamin, a guy called David Pierre, who's like, his photos are brilliant and they're highly edited, and that's his style. But they're just so good. Like, I can't even compete, so I don't even bother trying to do that kind of thing. Like, my style is different, and you have to own your own style. But make sure the photos are looking good, and provide, again, it's the same with the blog, really. Know your niche and know where you can provide value. So if you're doing, I don't know, car reviews or makeup tutorials or something, be really good.
How should someone grow organic followers on IG and build the good relationship with the followers?
Yeah, so like I was saying before, building it, just keep providing value and taking really good pictures. Make sure you share like the really good stuff, and none of the filler. Like, don't feel like you have to post something and just put something mediocre up, because it just doesn't add anything. Having a relationship with the people who engage with your stuff is really important. It should be the most important thing that you do on social. Is talking to people and listening to what they want to see and hear. So sometimes I'll ask, like, do you prefer my nature photos or like family updates? And if people say either way, I'll skew my content to that. I'll take more pictures of like my daughter on a scooter, or like cool pictures of waterfalls and stuff, if people want to see that more, because like, it's all very well doing it for me, but ultimately this is not for me. Like, this is a platform for me to share what I'm interested in, but it's to talk to people and keep the people who follow me interested in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And if they comment, always reply, and then ask a question. Like, don't let that conversation end with what you just said. If they ask a question or if they make a comment, you then ask a question and keep the conversation going like you would with the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And then the more comments you're getting, Instagram sees that your content is more engaging and it's more likely to be up. So the more things you can do to get your content higher in the feed, the better, because then you'll be more likely to see it. Also, you can start the conversation by asking a question in your caption and make it quick. Right? Don't ask them to, like, how do you feel about this? Like, are you a cat or a dog person? Like, that kind of stuff. Like, define yourself with A or B.
Like, where can people find you and connect with you?
So the blog is socialdad.ca, and Instagram is JamesRCS, which is my middle initials, and Twitter is JamesRCS. YouTube is Social Dad.
Well, thank you so much for saying yes again for the interview. It was so nice talking to you.
I hope that you picked out so many beautiful points and you enjoyed this conversation. And if yes, make sure to give this video a like, share with all the friends and family, those who are trying to grow as a blogger or something. If you're new, you have to subscribe. All that you know, it's free. So make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll see you guys in my next one.